Weird wildlife. Sea creatures. Sea creatures. Sea creatures live in all parts of the ocean, shallow and deep, icy and warm. They range from monster mammals to tiny creatures that are too small to see without a microscope. There are all kinds of fish. The smallest fish, the dwarf goby, would fit on your fingertip. The largest, the whale shark, weighs as much as 6 elephants. Strangely, the giant whale shark's diet includes some of the ocean's tiniest creatures. These are called plankton. The ocean is home to reptiles such as turtles and sea snakes. There are also creatures like lobsters and crabs with shells as hard as armor, but no skeletons. Other sea creatures have soft bodies and no armor. They include octopuses that can change color and squirt clouds of black ink, sea anemones, I'm not even sure if I pronounced that right, that look like flowers, and starfish covered in thorns. Oceans cover two-thirds of the Earth's surface and stretch down deeper than the tallest mountains. There are probably more weird sea creatures that we have not even discovered yet. Over here, there's a side note that says a crown of thorn starfish munches on some coral. Starfish have gobbled up whole sections of the Great Barrier Reef off Australia. Huge squids. The giant squid grows to over 59 feet, 18 meters long. It also has no bones. The squid's huge bullet-shaped body with arms and two tentacles that stretch make it an expert mover, and it can move backwards too. The giant Pacific octopus is the largest octopus in the world. It can grow up to 31 feet, 9.6 meters, from arm tip to arm tip. Freaky fish. Believe it or not, there is no such thing as a standard fish shape. The oceans are home to fish of just about every shape and size that you can imagine. Eels are fish that look more like snakes. In warm waters, tiny garden eels pop up and down from burrows in the seabed. In cold, deep waters, snipe eels snap up shrimp in jaws that look like beaks. Flying fish have fins that look like wings. They use these fins to leap out of the water and glide through the air. Fish called rays are shaped like kites and seem to fly underwater when they flap their fins. Some rays have a secret weapon, a tail that can give attackers a painful sting. So up here are some side notes. Garden eels are strange fish that bury their heads in the seabed. Their top halves wave around in the current, picking up food or duck down when danger approaches. Fish shock. Electric rays use a stun gun to catch their prey. These fish can cover themselves with a cloak of electricity. If a creature swims into the electric cloak, it is stunned by the shock. Manta rays are huge but harmless, even though they are related to sharks. From wingtip to wingtip, they measure as much as 20 feet or 6 meters long. Hagfish look like eels with no jaws. These ugly mugs burrow their way into the skin of dead or dying fish, eating the flesh as they go. Their other tricks include tying themselves in knots and producing loads of slime. The hagfish's tiny teeth are perfect for gnawing bits of flesh. 4 feelers around the mouth help the hagfish find its food. The coral reef. Colorful coral reefs grow in warm, shallow waters. They are built from the skeletons of millions of tiny animals called corals. The corals grow in all sorts of weird shapes. Some look like broccoli, while others look like brains. Beautiful rainbow color fish live among the coral. There are blue parrotfish, yellow angelfish, and orange and white clownfish. Clownfish swim around among the deadly stinging tentacles of one type of sea anemone. For some mysterious reason, the clownfish do not get stung by this one type, but any enemies chasing them do. Many other strange creatures live on the reef. Giant clams are shellfish with a shell so big that a baby could take a bath in it. Clams are filter feeders. That means they catch the small plankton as they take in a mouthful of water. Then they spit out the water, leaving just the plankton to swallow. Here we have a couple of side notes. One reef may be home to as many as 350 different corals. The amazing shapes they form provide millions of hiding places for other reef creatures. The boxer crab carries a small anemone in each pincer. These boxing gloves pack a stinging punch. A cleaner wrasse grazes on the faces of a grouper fish. Right here, this thing. The wrasse gets a free meal and the grouper gets cleaned up. A trip to the barber's. Small fish called cleaner wrasse seem to like danger. They swim into the mouths of fierce hunting fish, such as groupers and moray eels. They do this to get at the tiny creatures that live on the fish scales and to clean their teeth too. Cleaner wrasse are also barber fish.